Welcome to the Xanadu Experience.
We cannot use the Church of God to celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, St. Valentine's Day, Easter, Christmas, or big up our children and talks about all that they achieve. We still do not understand the sanctuary of old. Let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them. The church on earth, 1 Timothy 3:15, where truth reside, is like in heaven. The angel go to church in heaven. The thing that we say in church, the thing that we do in church, how we dress to go to church, tell us the concept that we have in our mind and our thoughts about the God that we worship. In 605 BC, Belshazzar, right? And King Nebuchadnezzar, his grandfather, make a big error when they took the vessels from Jerusalem, took it to Babylon, and worshiped the God of woods and stone, symbolizing Christmas and Easter and all the pagan festivity. And they do it to their own detriment. When in Daniel 4, King Nebuchadnezzar, after bigging up his chest, went out to grass, becomes a madman for 7 years. In Ezekiel 22, verse 26 to 30, the scripture said, they put no difference between the holy and the profane. They mix up everything. In Isaiah 5, 20-21, they take good for bad and bad for good, evil to good. They mix up everything. They mix up sugar with aloe vera. They don't know how to put a line of demarcation what church is and what Satan church is. And we mix up. We can't be in the middle. We have to be on the right for God or on the left for Satan, symbolize the goat. Matthew chapter 22. The man was invited to come to church. And when Christ examined him, the investigative judgment, he did not have on the proper garment and he was thrown out. People, you cannot mix up God's business with the earth. Right? In 1 Corinthians 6, 2 Corinthians 6, 2 Corinthians 3, you can read it. Baal worship and sun worship have no place in God's church. 1 Kings 18, right? Elijah let the Baal worshipper know that there is a line of demarcation between Christians and pagans. Now, all the churches, including the Adventist church, not listen to the pen of E.G. White. Neither do they listen to the Bible. Because the Bible warns us not to shake hands with these people, not to be in company with them, not to go to their parties, not to go to their functions. There must be a line of the Christian behavior and character. And there must be a dichotomy between the world and God's church. And so when we look in the church today, and we see Adventists are allowing pagan way of worship to come into church. When you look at our ladies' extended fingernail, because many of them are doctors, many of them are lawyers, many of them are teachers, not recognizing in Matthew 16 that God rebuked the liars. He said, you know the time, the weather, when the time is red and when rain is going to fall, but you do not understand the doctrine of Christ. Because I was not talking about bread as it relates to eat. You remember in Exodus 16, you remember that I was the one who fell in manna? Do you remember in Psalm 78 and verse 20 that I gave the children of Israel angel food to eat? Do you remember in Mark 8 and also in Matthew 14 and 15 that I gave the people who are hungry food? Do you remember in Matthew 9 and verse 36 that I have compassion? Do you remember that I am the one who is going to die for my people? Do you remember that I was in heaven and I leave heaven and come to earth to die for you? And you don't understand the doctrine of Christ? Liars, Luke 11, 46 to 52. God rebuked the liars them. And so when we have people from university and we see people from NCU and UTech and all the other university in Jamaica and all over the world, Timbuktu, Harvard University, I don't care where you are. When you come into the church, you need to be humble so you can be exalted and not come in front of God in your ring, not come in front of God in your lipstick, not come into God with your wig, your cut off your ear and use glue and put on your wig. God have no place in the church for these Babylonian dressing. Away with the Babylonian dressing. Take it out of God's church. And the elders are going to be well responsible for not seeing these ladies, especially going on the podium with all their fingernails white like snow, eyebrow cut out, gone away from the true doctrine that Christ has left when he left earth in AD 31 and gone to heaven. And finally, we have 52 Sabbath in each year. We have 52 Sunday as well. Right? And sometimes it can fall on 53. Any day of the week. Especially when it comes to a leap year. 52 Sabbath. Right? And we have, if you multiply 52 by 7, you get 364. And the leap year, that's 365. And every day you go to church is about Women's Day, Women's Day of this, Women's Day of that, Women's Day of the another, Women's Day of the this, Children's Day of the that. There's no Monday. One day they talk about for man and a Men's Day. Very few. But I don't really care if it is man or woman. No day must be celebrated in God's church. Every time you go to church, which day is today? Oh, me teacher, Sabbath. No, it is International Day of Women this and Women that. Just as our rob God is Sabbath, seeing where we're robbing God is tithes, we're robbing God of his glory, we're robbing God of putting a day sanctified for his use only. There still remain a day for Jesus Christ, Hebrew 4. God is going to hold Seventh-day Adventist elders, deacons, ushers, pastor, choir member, and all who lead out general conference, every one of us, for taking away God's Sabbath and give it to so-called Women's Day, celebrating Easter, like the pagans. We might not come into church and do it, but we do it outside. The way we dress out there in the workplace. When we come to church on Sabbath, we're like Eve. But when we are out there in Babylon, we don't know them different. And they come to church with all kinds of different, and if they want to impress God by their dressing. God is not impressed by your dressing. God said, woe unto the pastors that lead my people astray. Leviticus chapter 20 verse 1 to 5, the scripture says, those who give their children to Molech, and God know he will do them. But those who see and did not report it to Moses, if they find out, they will be cut off. Today is the day when we're outside of the sanctuary. And we are supposed to be what? Kneeling down and praying and fasting, washing our clothes, symbolize washing our thoughts, allow God to wash our thoughts and our mind. and make us pure. Ezekiel chapter 26, verse 36 onward. Or 26, 36 onward. God said, we're going to sprinkle water and make you become pure. And we know God is officiating. Right? And He's coming both to tell you if you're wrong or you're right. It's not time for us to skylight now. The day of the investigative judgment. The day of God officiating in the most early in heaven. He's coming back to give a payday. It's not time for skylarking now. It's not time for us to be joking and playing church. Stop, take God's Sabbath and give it to the Babylonians. Like Belshazzar taking God's utensils and give it to the Babylonians. Stop, take God's Sabbath and give it to Mother's Day and Father's Day and Children's Day and all different days. The Sabbath is pure. It must be set aside and put one side for God alone. And it's only God alone must be worshipped in the sanctuary, nobody else. Stop, take God's Sabbath and give it to Rome. Give God's Sabbath to Him. To whom much is given, much is required. You call me Lord, 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 and you do not the things I say. You say you call upon God's name, He's not answering because we are going away from the true doctrine. The sanctuary was designed for God to have a talk with us. And we are taking God's time and give it to Satan. God is not going to hold you guiltless, church, including myself. All of us love you. God love you. But stop taking His time and give it to Babylon. Give God time to Him. Temperance. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more truth from the Bible.